Hello everyone, welcome to class. Today we're going to be discussing the Annotated Bibliography assignment. The purpose of this assignment is to help you track your sources for your Essay 3, which is your argumentative research paper for this course. First, let's begin by looking at the instructions. Then we will look at the components in depth. And finally, we will look at some examples for you from both Composition 1 and Composition 2. Let's get started. So as with any assignment, you first want to read the instructions. So if you would please pull your annotated bibliography instructions, grab yourself a pencil, maybe something to drink and something to munch on, and let's move through these instructions. First off, there are no peer reviews and no rough drafts for this assignment. You simply conduct your research, create your citations and your annotations, and you submit the assignment for grading. This assignment is worth 100 points. Now that we've talked about how much the assignment is worth and the fact that you do not have any peer reviews or rough drafts, let's recap the learning objectives for this course. So in Composition 1 and in Composition 2, you're learning how to compose argumentative papers. You need to be able to do this because for all of your courses throughout your academic journey, you're going to be asked to make an argument and be able to defend that argument, or you're going to be asked to analyze something regarding a claim, regarding philosophy, regarding historical accuracy. You may be in science and you may be asked to defend whether or not something can actually occur, or if a new scientific study should be invalidated. Whatever it is, at some point you're going to be able to need to write on your own, find sources on your own, and defend your own claim. So in Composition 1 and Composition 2, you're studying rhetoric, which is the use of words, images, music, body language to persuade another person towards your opinion. The annotated bibliography is one of the 5 parts of your sequenced research assignment. In the annotated bibliography, you're going to write out your citations and you're going to write out the 3 body paragraphs that goes along with each citation. A single citation and the 3 body paragraphs can comprise one annotation. It is in the annotated bibliography that you want to track the continuum of opinion. In other words, what are people saying about your subject and why do they care so much about it? You also want to make sure that your annotated bibliography will be varied in its sources. Make sure that the continuum of opinion is represented. So let's look at the instructions. The rhetorical analysis and the comparative rhetorical analysis essays required you to determine if arguments were effective by considering the components of argument. Your research proposal required you to submit a controversial topic that is related to American popular culture. In other words, you picked a social, cultural, political, or philosophical issue that needs further discussion. You have received approval from me, your professor, and now you are beginning the research process in which you go pull more sources and you start to form your own opinion about the topic. This assignment will help you track those sources, and it will help you track your quotes so you don't accidentally commit unintentional plagiarism in your essay. So what I would like for you to do is to pull your textbook. Everyone is an author, and read the chapters starting your research, which is on pages 443 to pages 454, and annotating a bibliography, which is on pages 500 to 504. Please read these chapters thoroughly, and please also reference your class lecture notes because we have already discussed these concepts in class before. Be sure to make sure that you use quotes in your annotated bibliography because we don't want you to accidentally commit plagiarism in your Essay 3. Now, an annotated bibliography is very similar to a works cited page. In a works cited page, you list every single one of your citations. The citations are in alphabetical order. And annotated bibliography has those citations, but underneath each citation are 3 body paragraphs. Body paragraph 1 is going to summarize the source. Body paragraph 2 is going to analyze the source for the components of argument. And body paragraph 3 is going to state why the source is either relevant to your topic, or why you decided that the source is not relevant to your topic and you're going to move on to some other sources. When I was a student in undergrad and I was doing annotated bibliographies, in my reflective paragraph, I would often note if somebody had referenced another author, if a certain author had been referenced multiple times. This helped me to track the continuum of opinion regarding sources on my topic. So after you have read those 2 chapters, reviewed your class lecture notes, and you've alphabetized your sources for your assignment, you're going to start to write the 3 paragraphs for each one of the citations. Now you're maybe asking, well, how many sources do I need for this assignment? Well, in Composition 1, you need 6 to 12 sources. And I have a bulleted list here for you that tells you what type of sources that you need for this assignment. You need to use your superheroes textbook. You have to have 1 or 2 chapters from this textbook. If you don't write about superheroes, that's not a problem. You can still use the philosophy that is presented in this textbook for your essay. You need 1 to 2 peer-reviewed journal sources, a reliable website, and 1 popular medium source, like a newspaper, a magazine, a blog, a vlog, a movie, a song, a piece of artwork, or even a class lecture. All of those are appropriate for your essay. Now, keep in mind, while you're doing your annotated bibliography, you do want to vary your sources, because I'm going to be looking for the fact that you can find sources that agree with your thesis claim, that disagree with your thesis claim, and sources that partially agree and disagree with your thesis claim. In the library resource orientation, you learned about the CRAAP test for all sources. Is it credible, reliable, authoritative, applicable, and published recently? I've provided you with a link to TCC's library video regarding the CRAAP test. Please make sure, if you have any questions, that you go back and you review this video. It will help you in determining whether or not the source that you are picking for your annotated bibliography is reliable. Now that you have looked for your 6 to 12 sources and you have determined that all of your sources are reliable, you want to make sure that while you're reading the sources that you start to think about what your claim is and how you're going to support your claim. Now, maybe you're thinking, oh man, Professor, I really do not know how to create the citations. I'm still struggling with that. That's not a problem. I have included some links for you. One is the Al Purdue website. The next one is the TCC Writing Center website. You also have your textbook, and you can use me, your professor, as a source to help you with any citations that you may be struggling with. Think of citations like a mathematical model. When you were in grade school, you learned 1 + 1 = 2. Well, your MLA citations are just like a mathematical model. You need to make sure that you have the components like the author, the title, where it was published, the publication date, the year that it was published, and of course, if it's in a magazine or a newspaper, you're going to need page numbers as well. So keep this in mind as you're going through your sources. Now you may be asking, how do I format my annotated bibliography? We will get to that here in a few minutes, and I want to say, make sure that you're using MLA. I've provided for you the naming convention. This is also in your course syllabus on how to save your annotated bibliography. Please make sure that you do so. A lot of students ask me, well, how can I earn an A on this assignment? Because it seems like it's a very difficult assignment. I wouldn't say so much that is difficult as it is that you need to be precise. You need to be able to follow directions. You need to be able to use MLA formatting. You need to be able to use an MLA citation model. And you need to be able to follow the formatting that I've provided you within the directions. In order to earn an A for this assignment, please use the Annotated Bibliography template, which is provided for you on the Blackboard site for this course. Within your template, which becomes your personal annotated bibliography, you want to have all of your MLA name information, you want to have the title Annotated Bibliography, you want to have your working tentative thesis claim, and then you want to have the citations and the 3 body paragraphs for each citation, and these become an annotation. Each annotation has 3 body paragraphs, and I've already discussed what those paragraphs are, and we're getting ready to further look at those paragraphs here in just a moment. So let's go look at the components of an annotated bibliography and the components of an annotation. So an annotated bibliography does have many components, and we are going to discuss what those components are. First off, use the template, as I've already said, and make sure that you use MLA formatting. Make sure that your thesis is underneath your title, Annotated Bibliography, and make sure that every single annotation has the 4 components. The first component is a citation. The second component is a summary paragraph, and this paragraph is written in 3rd person. The next component is the analysis paragraph, which is also written in 3rd person. And the last component is the reflective paragraph. This paragraph is written in 1st person because you're stating how this source that you have is either applicable or not applicable to your research. So you will need to write in 1st person for that. Part of your grade will depend upon you making sure that you are writing in the correct voice tense for each one of the body paragraphs. We have discussed the components of an annotated bibliography. Let's begin by looking at some student examples. In the video lecture regarding student research proposals, I showed you Aaron Glenn's research proposal regarding disabilities. Let's look at Aaron Glenn's annotated bibliography. So here is Ms. Glenn's annotated bibliography. She is following MLA formatting in that she does have her header, she has all of her name information, and she has the title, which is Annotated Bibliography, right here. Underneath that, she has the word thesis, followed by a colon, and she has her working thesis. The use of animals portraying disabilities in popular culture positively affects the viewer's opinion of people with disabilities. Now, Ms. Glenn means to have an apostrophe after the S and opinions to be plural. Then she hits the enter key and it takes it down to the next line, and then she hits the enter key again, and she has her first citation. By looking at the citation, I know that the author is Kavna. I know that it is an article, that it was published in the Washington Post, and the date that she accessed it was October 22nd, 2018. After her citation, then she is going to hit the enter key once to go to the next line, and then again to go to the first line of her summary paragraph. So here's the space between her citation, and here is her first paragraph. So if we were to go back to our PowerPoint regarding the components of an annotated bibliography, Every annotation has 4 components. The first component is the citation, and the second component is the summary paragraph. And the summary paragraph is written in third person. Let's go look at Miss Glynn's. This article starts out by explaining the author's childhood. His mother taught special needs students and took them out on field trips. Kavanaugh was worried about how other people would react to these students' disabilities. So far, it is written in third person, and if we were to continue to read, we would definitely see that her first paragraph, which is the summary paragraph regarding her source, is written in first person. After her summary paragraph, she hits the enter key, and she hits the enter key again to make sure that there's a space between the first paragraph and the second paragraph. And now she's going to begin her analysis, which she does. She talks about credibility, which is a component of argument. She talks about logos, which are the examples of character. This also is written in third person. She hits the enter key to place a space between the paragraph and the last paragraph, which is her reflective paragraph. And this paragraph is supposed to be written in first person. And as you can see here, she does write this in first person. So she has the citation, she has the summary paragraph, the analysis paragraph, and the reflective paragraph. So she has the 4 components for an annotation. Let's zoom out on the document so I can talk a little bit more about how the formatting for an annotated bibliography is supposed to be. Now, if you will look very carefully here at her citation, you will see that the citation has the expected ½ inch hanging indent. The paragraphs themselves are indented a full ½ inch. They align with that hanging indent on her citation. And you can see that when we look at the second page, because here's her second citation, and here begins her next paragraph, and as you can see, it's fully set over by the ½ inch. So as I scroll down, you can see the spaces in between the paragraphs. You can see that the citations are left justified, and you can see that the paragraphs are indented by a full ½ inch. So she has met the requirement for the MLA formatting in regards to that, on how it's structured. I'm going to scroll down to the very last 2 pages of her annotated bibliography, because now I want to talk about the last requirement that you have for this assignment, and that is after you have all of your citations and annotations, you need to provide a working outline. So at the very top of the paper, you will have the word outline. Directly underneath that, you're going to have thesis, and then you are going to use Roman numerals for your major paragraphs. You're going to use capital letters for the main points in the paragraph. You're going to use numeric numbers for the details within a paragraph. So as we look at Miss Glynn's, we can see an introduction, and then we can see that she has her body paragraphs. And as we scroll down, we will see that she has her conclusion as well. Now, you don't have to write in full sentences for your outline. You can write in abbreviated sentences. You can write in phrases. I just need enough information to know how your argument is going to proceed. Because what you have done is you have written out all of your annotations on your annotated bibliography. You have come up with a working thesis, and now you have decided how you are going to organize your essay. Because shortly after you have submitted your annotated bibliography, you're going to need to submit your rough draft for your argumentative research paper. Let's look at another student example regarding an annotated bibliography. This is Kenna Martinez, AB for English Composition 1. She has all of her MLA name information. The only thing that I would correct is that the word October should be abbreviated. She does also have the title Annotated Bibliography. Directly underneath that, she does have the word thesis, followed by a colon, and she has her tentative thesis claim. The question of assisted suicide and euthanasia are seen by some as unethical, immoral, or legally controversial. Legalizing assisted suicide and euthanasia would remove the moral and religious stigmas associated with the terminating of life and put the patient in control of their terminal illness. Right away, we already know that we have an argumentative topic. She's dealing with ethics and morality and law. All of these things are highly debatable. They're open to interpretation. Although some states do have a right and wrong, within the United States, there are states within us that as well have legalized euthanasia. So this is a current topic. It's relatable. People should care because every state within America is still currently discussing whether or not assisted suicide should be legalized. Directly underneath her thesis statement, she has her first citation. Now notice this is an electronic source, and because it is an electronic source, she does need to provide the access date, the date that she accessed the source. She has a space between her citation and her first paragraph, which is a summary paragraph regarding the source. She has decided to use this quote, "Aid in dying laws," so that she can insert this into her essay 3. She then moves on to her second paragraph, which is analysis. And then she moves into her reflective paragraph, which she has written in first person. She has a space between that and the next citation. So let's zoom out on her essay so that we can look at her overall formatting, just like we did for Ms. Glenn's paper. And as you can see, the body paragraphs are indented by an entire ½ inch. And you can see the spacing between the citations and the paragraphs as we scroll through here. And when we get to the bottom, we will come to her outline regarding her paper. And here it is. Let's zoom in and take a look. So she has the word outline. She has her tentative thesis. And then she is working through her paragraphs. So she has her introduction. She wanted me to take a look at her wording for her introduction. So she wrote out more lengthy sentences. She wanted me to take a look at whether or not she had the order correct for her introduction. So you can see very detailed sentences. Again, it's your choice. If you would like for me to take a look at your wording, you're more than welcome to write full sentences. I would be happy to read them and offer feedback. Then in other places, as you can see here, she feels more confident with what she's doing, so she doesn't have as long of sentences. She has basically just provided some phrases so that I can understand where her argument is going. Either way is fine, whatever you're comfortable with. I do want to see how you're going to organize your paper so that I can give you some feedback in case you need to reorder some paragraphs or restructure some things within your paper. So I've shown you Ms. Glenn's paper and I've shown you Ms. Martinez's paper. Both are good examples on formatting. Please let me preface that both of them do have some errors, but we all make errors in our writing. But I think they're a good example. I think this will help you out a lot in what you're trying to complete for this assignment. Let's go back to the PowerPoint and let's review what it is that we are looking for within an annotated bibliography. So you want to use the template, you want to use MLA formatting. Every citation has the 4 components. Every annotation has the 4 components, which is a citation, a summary paragraph, and then underneath the summary paragraph, you have the analysis paragraph, followed by the reflective paragraph. Directly after your annotated bibliography, you do want to include your outline for your assignment. just as we have talked about in Miss Glenn's and Miss Martina's papers. At the very top of the paper, you would include the word outline, followed by your thesis, and then, of course, followed by the outline, which is going to show me how you're going to organize your paper. I hope this video lecture has helped you and been informative for you. I will provide a link to the Google Slides so that you can take notes on the slide as you're listening to the video lecture. As always, if you have any questions, please see me. Also feel free to visit the Writing Center or use any of the helpful links that I have provided for you. I hope you have a wonderful spring break, and I look forward to seeing you.